Okay, I think for the online, I hope my voice is clear for you. Can you please confirm and chat online whether I'm audible or not? Okay. So in the last class, which topic we have seen? We have seen the concept of I shown you the concept of namespace as well as I shown you the concept of cluster scaling, right? Okay. Yeah. Give me 1 second online. Okay. So we can start now. So guys, in the last session, already we have the same server where my KOps is installed. Okay. So what I can do is give the command KOps. So in this server, already I installed the KOps actually. So I can reuse the same server to create the cluster again. And one more thing I want to tell for you is already whenever I say the concept of KOps, there is a major thing about the S3 bucket. Even though if we lost our cluster, data will be still accessible on the bucket, right? So let me show you. It is our last class bucket, what I have created. If you can go and see here in the bucket, if you click on show versioning, is the still data of the cluster is available or not, sir? The reason why I create bucket means even though your cluster is there or not, still my data will be there. If you can go and see, give the command cops get cluster. I don't have any cluster, correct? But let me show you one thing. Let me run the export command. Cop state export. Already I said this command in last session, but I have seen some of the query from the online guys, okay? So from the Telegram channel. So guys, this is the solution. S3 colon slash slash name of the bucket you need to give. So it's my name of the bucket. So you can see there is no cluster. Okay. So let me create the cluster. Give the command cops create cluster hyphen name of the cluster. I can give rahams dot k8s dot local. So here I can give hyphen master count. How many masters you want? One. Right? And you can give hyphen master size. What I want for master T2 medium. What I want? And here you can give hyphen worker count. Okay. So if you don't want to write this command, simply what you can do is already we have the command on our all setups. If you go to my GitHub all setup, so there you can go and check. Sir, names with an auto scaling group is not given in classroom. In classroom, it's not given. Huh? I already said if I miss something on the session, I ask you to ping on Telegram, but none of you are pinging on Telegram. That means you are not up to the date for practice. So let me go and give it here. For node, I want T2 micro is fine. So now automatically the cluster will be created here. So in today's class, I'm gonna tell you concept of services. So let me go and give the COPS update cluster. Yep. I think the notes haven't uploaded or it's not saved. I think so. Fine. I copied to this file, but I think it's not saved in the file. That is the reason it is not replicated. But okay, fine. Yep. Data. So in today's class, I'm gonna teach you about the concept of services in Kubernetes. What I'm gonna teach you? So basically, what is the purpose of service, So if I want to expose the application, currently where is the application? Application is inside the pod. Inside the container, we have the application. So if I want to expose the application, so I need to use the concept called services. What I need to use? Services. So coming to the type of services, basically we have the types called cluster IP, we have node port, and we have load balancer. Cluster IP means it will work inside the cluster. See, you create a pod. Let me show in the diagrammatical way. Let's open up the paint. See, you can go and here you can see the cluster. It's my cluster. Inside the cluster, I'm going to create a pod. What I'm going to create? Pod. So inside this pod, I have the application. What do you have? Application. So I'm going to call it as app. So you can call as application or even though you can call it as service. See, there is a user from outside of the cluster. So he's from the internet actually. I have the user 1 and similarly I have the user number 2. So these both user want to access this pod. So if I want to give this pod, that means give this application to the user, I need to use something called as service. What I need to use? Coming to the types here, the first one will be cluster IP. Which one? So in the cluster IP service, we can expose the application inside the cluster. That means you can expose the application. But if you can go and see here, this kind of pods will be exposed inside the cluster. That means if I work inside the cluster, then only I can see the application. But outside users cannot able to access this kind of application. It is very difficult for them to access. Why? Because this will be working inside the cluster, not outside of the cluster. You can go and check here. That's what I have written. It will work inside the cluster, but it will not expose to the outer wall. That means pod will be accessible if you are a person inside the cluster. But by default, inside the cluster, our internal team will work. But in the real time, are the users like clients going to work inside the cluster? No. See, if you want to access the Paytm application, you can access from internet, right? But this cluster IP service will allow you to see the application if you go inside the cluster only. That is the first one. If you can go and see, it is just the deployment code, normal deployment code, what we are going to use. Coming to the service code, for service, API version will be, and kind, I'm going to create as metadata will be name of the service. What is the name of the service? Service. In the specification, I'm writing it as type. What is the type of the service I'm creating? Cluster IP. And coming to the selector, I am telling apply this cluster IP service to the pods which is having app is equal to. So all of my pods are having app is equal to movie label. So this selector will find the pod which is having app is equal to movies and apply this cluster IP for them. And coming to the port number, what is the port I am giving here? 80. Why 80 means here I am giving the Apache. Inside my image, I have Apache or not, sir? Port number of Apache will be 80. That's the reason. So you can go and check now here. Okay. So I'll be writing this code for you. So let me go to the cluster here. So here I can go. What is the command to get the list of cluster? Cops get cluster. That is the command to get the list of cluster. So let me go and give the command cops get cluster. So if I want to get the nodes, kubectl get NO. Are you getting the nodes here? No, why? Because these nodes are not yet created. So you can go and check here. Currently, if you go to the section of your cluster, so these nodes are running and the statistics got fine. Okay, wait. Now it will run. Kubectl get node. Uh, Wait. No resource found. Let me log in one more time. Wait. I'm on testing namespace. Wait. In the last class, I'm on which namespace here? Kubectl get NS. I'm on testing namespace in the last class. If you go and observe here, after creating the testing namespace, I haven't gone to default namespace. Let me go to default namespace. Kubectl config set context hyphen current namespace is equal to I need to go to default. So now give the command kubectl get nodes. Here also it is not getting right. What happened to these nodes? Kubectl get events. Wait, let me check what is the issue here. Here you can check node is having insufficient memory disk pressure. Okay, update node allocator limit for the ports. Have you seen the warning here? You can see the invalid disk capacity. Have you seen this one? That means node is not having the invalid like valid disk. That is the reason why it is not created. Fine. What we can do is cops delete cluster hyphen name of the cluster will be rahams dot kts dot local. Or what you can do is the issue is with the disk, right? What we can change? We can change the limitation of the disk. What we can change? So I think all of you know the command cops edit IG. You know this command, right? Cops edit instance group. Okay. Let me go and change this instance group here. Here. So in the worker node, there is no disk capacity. Okay. So what is the disk of EBS volume here? You can say here it is not EDS. Let me write the cluster itself. Where is the EBS volume? Let me show you how much of EBS volume it is going to use. Basically, it will use almost 120 of EBS volume. What is the storage you can see here? 64 plus 20 plus 20. What is the total value? 104, right? And for the worker nodes, you can see it here. The desire reason it is telling that insufficient disk. Okay. So what we can do is, let me tell you the new command. Let me delete the command first, like this cluster, and I'll tell you how to restrict the EBS volume for the cluster. So this is a new learning for you. Basically, this problem will not come in general. Basically, let me tell you how I troubleshoot this problem. Give the command kubectl get events. This command will tell me what exactly happened inside the cluster. What is the command here? Kubectl get events. I can see the warning here. What is the warning? Invalid disk. That means this particular node is not having the proper disk access. Okay, it is invalid. That is the reason why I came to know the issue is with the EBS volume. Kubectl get events is the command where exactly we are going to use for the troubleshooting purpose in the real-time world. Okay, by using this command only, I have understand what is the issue. Now what I can do? Let me delete the cluster. Kubectl, sorry, cops delete cluster. Hyphen hyphen name of the cluster will be rahames dot kts dot local. Put hyphen hyphen. Yes. Yeah. So now it is going to remove the cluster. Now tell me what is the major issue we are having? We are having the issue with the disks, right? Master node has taken 104 GB. Sorry, MB. Sorry, MB not GB only. Worker node has taken 128. Worker node to 128. So total, if we combine, how much of EBS volume we are spending? Almost all we are spending 350 MB. Sorry, GB. How much? So 350 GB is very big amount or not, sir? So by default, it will come with that EBS volume only. But we have the chance to restrict the EBS volume. How to restrict the EBS volume means, let me tell you. Generally, if you want to create the cluster, this is the command what you are going to prefer. Correct or not, sir? Let me go and give this one. But here, if you want to limit the EBS volume, I'll tell you. Which error, Sagar? Like, this is what we got there. Okay. Today is day 4, right, of Kubernetes? Day 4 only, no? Yes, Sagar, I seen your message, but I'm not able to figure it out. Like, where you got the error? Like on your practice or like on the class? You said that what is the error we got? Like, but from where it is? And one more thing, guys, for this week, I'm gonna leave at 7:15 only. Why? Because the new demos are going to happen. From 4:30, I have the new batch. Okay. So what happened means by clearing all of them out, so it is taking more than expected time. So class is happening till 6:15. And at the same time, we are having some other batch at 7:30 here. So we need to vacate the class by 7:20 at least. Okay. So for for only one this week, just try to adjust. But from the upcoming week, so the demos will be done now. So we'll be getting back to the like normal classes. So now see, you don't have any of the Kubernetes cluster running now. So let me create the cluster here. So it is the command to create the cluster, right? But here, if you want to restrict the EBS volume, how do you restrict? Basically, if you don't know how to restrict the EBS volume, so if you don't know anything, what is the first thing you are going to tell you? Ask Google, right? So I'll be going for cops create command, well, like cluster create command with EBS restriction. With EBS restriction. Or like what you can do is if you go to the official documentation of KOps, here you can see the official documentation. Here you can see, for example, see, I want to restrict the EBS volume, right? So how to restrict the EBS volume? Here you can see. Let me show you in the options panel. You can see EBS volume. Let me go and search for EBS. Control F, give Control F, or like here you can search for volume. In the EBS volume optimization, wait. Let me go to the first line. So this is the official documentation, guys. I'm showing you. Let me go and show you. Where is the EBS volume? Here you have the section hyphen volume section. Let me show you that for you. You can see boot disk size. What is the boot disk size like we are going to have for worker node? 128, right? So this is the way how exactly we are going to modify it. After creating the cluster, you can modify, but I am just showing you before creating the cluster, how to limit that one. Or like, let me go on this way. Cops create cluster command. There is a command here. Where is the command here? Yeah, while creating. Here you can go and 6. You can see this one, right? Hyphen node volume size. So this is the way how exactly you can restrict. So basically, let me copy this one. You can go and give here hyphen. What is the node size you want to restrict? I can give node hyphen volume hyphen size. For worker node, how much I want? I want 20 GB. That's fine. Generally, you get 128, but now I'm getting only 20. But for master, also put hyphen master. What you can give here? Master volume size. Master hyphen volume hyphen size. How much you want? I want 20 GB. That's fine. Hit enter. Now you will be getting only that of EBS volume. Previously, your EBS volume is very big. That is the reason you got the issue. What is the issue? You got invalid disk. That means your disk is not sufficient. But have a restrict the disk usage of this particular cluster creation or not, sir? Yes. So go here and give hyphen admin. That's it. Now it is going to create the EBS volume. I mean, like it is going to create the cluster with the given EBS volume only. How much of EBS volume I have given now? 20 for master and 20 of the worker node. Now, is our disk will be sufficient or not, sir? So this is what exactly you are going to do on the real time. Whenever if you get the issue, give the command kubectl will get events. If you give the kubectl will get events, what will happen? You are going to get the issues of warnings, errors you are going to get. What is the warning? See the warning, understand the warning, and try to troubleshoot. That's it. So now again, we need to wait for 5 more minutes. Wait. Ankit, of course, we can modify the old cluster volume also, but I just want to show you how to restrict the volume while creating only. Okay, we can do that one also. I'll show how to modify the existing cluster volume. Don't worry. And Anirudh sir, admin activities are not working. It's getting error. Like, what is error you are getting? Like Anirudh? So wait for some time until it got created. It will go Anirudh. Let me tell you how to do it. And today is like very important day actually. Why? Because it's the 10th anniversary of Kubernetes. On this day, exactly 10 years ago, Kubernetes was launched. Which is the game changer of the DevOps actually, Kubernetes. Now you can see master node is ready. So we are going to wait for the worker nodes here. Wait for it. Happy birthday for Kubernetes. Yeah. So now you can give the command kubectl get envo. Are you getting the nodes here now? Is it working or not, sir? So this is the way how exactly we are going to troubleshoot. See, to troubleshoot any kind of issue, first of all, you need to understand the what is the issue. After understanding, then you are going to find the solution. How to find out any issue by using the command called kubectl get events. Fine. So now let me go and give the command kubectl get svc. This is the command to get services. By default, Kubernetes will create one service, that is cluster IP service, which is to communicate internally. Okay. So now here I am going to give the command called abc.yml. Here, first part of this section will be belonging to the deployment. I think all of you know how to write the deployment code. So I'm not going to explain it one more time. Why? Because we've seen this multiple times in the class. So now if I want to expose that pod, I need to write services. What I need to write here? Services. So you can go and check here. Let me explain this service one more time. And like, let me write it one more time for you. So for any of the manifest file, what are the 4 mandatory fields? API, version. Okay. Next, after that, kind of the service. Next, we need to give meta data. Finally, we need to give spec. Okay. So API version of the cluster IP service will be V1. Kind will be, I am going to create a service. In services will be capital. Metadata, I am going to give the name of the service. So name of the service will be service 1. Of course, you can give any of the name, depends upon your choice. Coming to the spec, what is the type of service I am creating now? Cluster IP. In cluster IP, C and IP will be common. Okay. Coming here next, I am going to write selector. Sir, you are creating the cluster IP service, but you want to attach the service to which pods? The pod which is having app is equal to movies. Here my label is app is equal to movies. So for all the pods which is having app is equal to movies, I am going to attach to the cluster IP. Coming to the last point here, I'm going to expose the ports here. What I'm going to expose here? Ports. In the port section, I'm going to give the port number 80. Why port number 80? Means in the image called Paytm movies, I install the Apache service. What is the Apache port number? Definitely you need to give it. That's it. So now let's go and create the service by using the command kubectl create -f. Name of the file will be abc.yml. So deployment got created and you got the service also. Give the command kubectl get PO. Are you getting the pods now? And give the command kubectl get svc. You got the service. What is the name of the service here? Type of the service will be cluster IP, right? If I want to get some additional information, put -o void. If I put -o void, what will happen? So this particular cluster IP is exposed to the pods which is having app is equal to movies. No, sir, I want to get complete information. Kubectl describe service. What is the name of the service? It exposed or not, sir? So these are what we can call as endpoint. What we can call as endpoint means for every pod you are going to create. Okay. For every pod you are going to create, for each and every pod we are going to have the endpoint. See, for this pod, if I want to access application from this pod, I will use this endpoint. It is the endpoint number 1. For second pod, if I want to access application from only this pod, I have the endpoint number 2. And again, I want to expose the application from pod number 3. I have the endpoint number 3. Fine. But what is the drawback in this cluster IP service? Means here, if you create the service, this will work inside the cluster. But in real time, are we going to expose the cluster, service inside the cluster or outside of the cluster? Why? Because if we expose inside, user cannot able to come inside your cluster. Okay. So this kind of approach, we will be used for some application like database. For example, I want to create a database. I don't want to expose to outside of the world. I want to expose database inside of my cluster. For those kind of applications, we can use the cluster IP service. See, if you want to expose, don't use cluster IP. If you don't want to expose, then use cluster IP. So let me go and give the pod kubectl delete -f abc.yml. Now both the deployment and service got deleted. Sir, what is the major purpose that we are not going to use cluster IP? Means here we cannot use it outside of the world. For that purpose, we are going to use something called as node port. What I'm going to use? So node port means it will expose our application on the particular port number. For our server, what are the port numbers we are having? Server port range 0 to 65,535. In this port range, this node port will pick up the range from 30,000 to 32,767. That means in this range only, one random port is going to select by the Kubernetes, and in that port we are going to expose the application. Okay. But if we specify a particular port number, we can get the particular port number. But if we don't specify any port number, Kubernetes will take any random port number from this range. Let me show it practically for you, so you'll be getting the clarity. For example, here, I am going to the same abc.yml file. The only thing I want to change here is, instead of cluster IP, I'm going to change the type as node port. What I'm going to change? In node port, N and P must be capital. Alright, wait. See, I'm going to give the command kubectl create -f abc.yml. Now is the service got created. Give the command kubectl get svc. What is the type of service you got created here? What is service type here? Name will be service one only, but type will be node port. So it is the IP address. Okay. And you can see, have you got the port number here? Sir, this port number is in between 30,000 to 32,767 or not? Have I given this port, or automatically Kubernetes gave the port? Kubernetes gave that port. Why? Because I haven't specified anything. If you specify, only that port number will come. But if you don't specify, random port number will come. Now what you can do is, your pods is running on worker node 1 and worker node 2. Take any of the public IP address. I'll take the public IP address of any of this worker node, and let me show you the application here. So it is my node 1, right? I'll copy the public IP address of node 1. And what is the port number here? 30,000. See, what is the port number? 30,358. Let me take this and expose. Are you getting the application? Yes or no? No. Even though if you go to worker node 2, in the worker node 2 also copy the same public IP address. What happened, man? Let me refresh. I think console got stuck. Let me refresh. So for the worker node 1 with the IP address of 34,226, I'm exposing the application, but it is not working. In the worker node 2 also, I'm trying to copy the public IP address 34,227. Okay, this is different IP address. In the worker node 2 also, I'm giving the same port number 30358. Sir, am I getting the application? Means still here also I won't get application. Why? Because by default, whenever if you create the cluster, it will come with the default security group. In default security group, do you have all traffic? If you don't have all traffic, how will these ports will work for you? No. For that purpose, go to security, change the security groups here. Let me modify the security groups here. Guys, this is out of control. Like I'm not able to control this. I'm pressing on one place, it is going for some other place. Okay, in the security group, click on edit all traffic. Remove everything and put all traffic. That's it. Have you given all traffic now? This is the point what I mentioned here. In security group, we need to give all traffic. After giving the all traffic, now if you go and refresh, you'll get the application. It's loading, wait. Are you getting the application? You'll also get go and refresh. Or let me access one more time. So this is 34.227, right? Let me go and take the public IP address of server number 1. So it is some different IP address. Go and copy this IP address. What is the port number? 30358. Are you getting the application now? This is the way how exactly you are going to use the node port service. In node port, whenever if you place the ports on the worker nodes, okay, Kubernetes will take any of the random port from this worker node and expose the application. Are you getting the application or not, sir? Even though if you copy the public IP address and port number in your mobile, you'll get the same application. Just try to access this port number, all of you. I'm going to give the public IP address of both the servers. Okay. Don't type HTTP and all. Just type the public IP address and port number. That's it. So online, even I'm giving this port number for all of you. You can check this from your browsers. Even I'm checking from my end here. So now all of you are going to get the same application in your browsers. Online, you can check it now. Yes. So this is the way how exactly we are going to use the concept called node port. So again, let me explain one more time. So node port means it will expose our application in a particular port number. So coming to the range, it is 30,000 to 32,767. In that range, it is going to take one random port number. If you specify any port number, it will take. But if you don't specify, it is going to take the random port number. So for example, I don't want to expose my application in the port number 30358. I want to give the fancy port number like 31111. Is 31111 port is in the range of this above number or not, sir? Now let's go and give this one. If I go to VM abc.yml, see what I can do is here I go to add something called as node port. What I'm going to add here? In the node port, P will be capital again here. And I'm going to give 31111. So guys, here I'm going to give the command kubectl apply -f abc.yml. See, in interview, they are going to ask you a question called, what is the difference between kubectl create and kubectl apply? Let me make it very clear for all of you. First of all, if you give the command kubectl create, it is going to create the resource. But already, if a resource is created, if you want to modify some property in this resource, so in that case, you are going to use the concept called kubectl. So already my resource is there, but you have some change. You want to apply the change, right? So in that case, you are going to use the command kubectl apply. So is the difference between create and apply clear for all of you know? Create means it is going to create the resource. Apply means if a resource is already created, then it is going to apply the changes. So now hit enter. The moment if you hit enter, now go and get the kubectl get SVC. What is the port number here? 31111. Now if I go and click on refresh, will I get the application now? I won't get the application. By means the port number got changed. Let me show you. Now, even you verify from your end also. So I'm verifying from here. Just verify from your application. Open your browser, all of you. See, this application got gone. Here also it's gone. Why? Because the old port number is not working. Now give 31111 here. Is it working? Yes. Here also you can go give 31111. So now in this way, you can be able to use the node port. So the concept of node port clear for all of you know? Online, can you please confirm is the concept of node port clear for all of you or not? Yes. So initially we use cluster AP, but what is the disadvantage? We cannot expose. But for to expose the application, which one we are using? Node port. But in node port also we are having a issue. What is the issue? You know, see, in node port, if you want to expose the application, we need to give the public IP address. But can we give public IP address of our server to user? And we need to give the port number. Limitation number one, public IP address we need to give to user to take the application, and port number also we are going to expose. See, you cannot give the IP address of your servers to anyone. Second one will be port restriction. What is the maximum range of ports we are having to expose the application? 30,000 to 32,767. That means you are having the range of 2,767 ports is available. But for example, if you are having ports of 5,000 ports, for example, let's take how many ports? How will we give the 5,000 ports to 5,000 ports? Is it possible practically? So ports is also going to be restricted, correct or not, sir? So in order to avoid this public IP address and port expose as well as port restriction, we are going to use one more service called load balancer service. Which one? Guys, load balancer is a better approach to expose any kind of service. Why? Because see, node exporter is going to work on this way. For example, you have two worker nodes, right? In the worker node, I have pod number one. In the worker node, I have pod number two. For example, let's take. For example, if all the user are accessing the worker node 2 only, all the user. Now worker node 2, load is going to increase or not, sir? When load will happen, what happened to the node? Node will be getting crashed down. So in order to avoid this mistake, we are going to have a concept called load balancer. What we are going to have? So the main purpose of the load balancer, the name itself is indicating load balancer is majorly used to distribute the traffic. For example, if first user send a request, okay, let me show you in the practical way. First user send a request, it will go to first server. But second user send a request, it is going to go to the server number 2. Again, third user request will go to server number 1. And fourth user request will be go to server number. So in this way, the number of requests are going to distribute to both of the servers in equally. But we don't have this kind of service in the node port. Why? Because in node port, all the user will able to access application from one server. So that is what I have written here. What I have written here, it will expose our application and distribute load between two ports and two nodes. So it will expose our application with the DNS. What is the DNS? www.paytm.com. That is what we call DNS. But if you want to work with DNS, you need to have a concept called Route 53. In AWS, you have a concept called Route 53. So with the help of the Route 53, you can use DNS creation. And the port number of DNS will be 53. It is going to be interview question. What is the port number of DNS? 53. Like that. Okay. So let me show you quickly how to go to the AWS console and type Route 53. In this Route 53, what you can go, you know? You can go and you can give www.paytm.com. You can create your own DNS. For example, if you go and see, click on get. So if you want to register a domain, click on get started. So for this purpose, you need to pay some amount for it. Okay. But I'm just giving. So checking availability. I want to give my application as www.paytm.com. But already this is taken by some other people. If I click on search, what will happen? Invalid. Why? Because this is already taken, right? So in that case, I'm going to take Paytm movies ABC. I'm going to check like this. Click on search. Again, it is also not going to be supported. Okay. But I'll be going and check some random thing I'm going to search. Is it available now? So what exact, like what kind of a DNS we want to use for our application? You can take your DNS. See, basically I have given like some random DNS, but you can go for your custom DNS. If I go for Paytm Movies ABC, will I get it now? Yes, but you are going to pay how many US dollars per year? 14 US dollars. If I click on select and if I click on proceed checkout, I'll get this DNS. Okay, but as of now, I'm not going to do why because it required $15. Huh? I'm just showing you how to buy a domain for your practical purpose. So online, is it clear for all of you how to purchase a domain? Can you please confirm me online? Yeah, this same domain you can go and give for your load balancer. Okay. So now our concept is not Route 53. Let me go and expose the service in the load balancer. First of all, I'll go and give the command kubectl delete -f abc.yml. Now go to the abc.yml. So instead of node port, what I'm going to put here? What I'm going to put here? Load balancer. What I'm going to put? So by default, if you go and check, you will have one default load balancer for your cluster by default. If you can go and see, are you seeing one load balancer for our cluster? But the moment if I go and give the command kubectl create -f abc.yml, you can go and check immediately. You can get the new load balancer. Are you getting the new load balancer? Now with the help of this DNS name, it is the default DNS coming from the load balancer. But already we said we can launch our custom DNS also. So if we copy this load balancer and if we give on the browser here, now application will run. But by default, it will take some time to activate. Currently, this load balancer is inactive state. Which state? So let's wait for like at least 1 minute so you can get the activate status. Again, load balancer is your AWS topic, which I'm going to explain in the upcoming days for you. As of now, just understand what is load balancer. And even though if you go and check, you can get the command kubectl get SVC, you can get the same load balancer DNS. Are you getting the same load balancer DNS here? Like this. So let's wait for some time until it get activated. So we can check the health checks here. So current, not health check target instance. Currently these are out of service, right? Wait for some time. It need to become activate. Is it in service now? Yes. Is it working now? So how exactly it is working means, see, first request will go to server number 1. Second request will go to server number 2. Now if you go and check, am I exposing the public IP address here? Am I exposing the ports here? No, simple DNS is enough to expose my application. So offline, you cannot type this one in the mobile, but for online, I'm going to give it for the chat box. Please take this load balancer DNS and try to check whether your application is working or not. Click on this URL. Automatically, you are going to get one application like this online. Yes. So this load balancer will be distributing the load for these two servers equally. First request will go to server 1. Second request will go to server 2. So in real time also we can use the load balancer to expose the application. Why? Because we can distribute the traffic and we can expose the application with the custom DNS. Of course, here though we get the default DNS, but in real time we can put our custom DNS. So this is the concept of services. Is the concept of services clear for all of you now? Online, can you please confirm, is the concept of services in Kubernetes clear for all of you or not? Can you please confirm in chat box once? Fine. And there is one more service called Ingress, which I'm going to explain on the later session of the concepts. Not now. Why? Because if I start teaching Ingress, your mind will be completely messed up. So Ingress I'll be teaching on the upcoming days for you. As of now, today I shown you what is cluster AB, what is notebook, and what is load balancer. That's it. So it is enough for today's session. Okay. And the smallest concept that I'm going to touch for today is metric server. What I'm going to touch? This is very small concept. Let me complete this one. Sir, currently, how many pods you are having? 10 pods. How many? I want to see how much of CPU and how much of RAM is consumed by that pods. How I can see. In Kubernetes, we have a concept called metric server. What do we have? This metric server main purpose is to get the metrics of the pod. That means if we install metric server in our cluster, it can collect the metrics like CPU, RAM from all the pods and all the nodes. Currently, how many pods I'm having? And how many nodes I'm having? 3 nodes, right? So I want to see each and every pod, CPU and memory information, and each and every node memory and CPU information. In that case, what we need to install here? Metric server. Okay. So if I use the command kubectl top, okay, give the command kubectl top pod, or give the command kubectl top node. By default, it is not going to work. Why? Because by default, API metric server will not install on our cluster. So we need to install them. How to install them means very easy. Let me go to the all setups. I think in the all setup, you can see something called as metric server. Are you seeing this one? So here for Minikube, if you want to run metric server, these are the commands for Minikube. But for KOps, this is the single line command. What you can do copy paste. Now hit enter. Now go and give the command kubectl top pods. So by default, it will take some time to load. So it is not loaded. Wait for at least 20 seconds. Okay. By default, if you install, immediately it is not going to work for you. Wait for at least 20 to 30 seconds. Go ahead and check it now. Is it working now? So buffer time will be 30 seconds for the metric server. So for the first node, how many millicores of CPU used here? 120 millicores. How much like percentage will be 6%. And how much of memory is used for work like manager node? 49. Worker node 1, 47. Worker node 2. So you can see the CPU and memory consumption of the servers are not, sir. How this can be done means with the help of metric server. Same thing if I want to see for my pods also, give the command kubectl top. Which command? Top. Are you seeing the pod CPU and memory consumption or not, sir? Pod number 1 is consuming 1 millicore of CPU. And how much of memory? 5 MB. Pod 2, 6 MB. Pod 3, 7 MB. So are we able to see the live CPU and memory consumption of pods or not, sir? How this will work means with the help of the metric server. Which server? So tell me, what is the purpose of using metric server? Memory and CPU. Previous name of metric server will be called as heapster. What do we call as? This is the interview question for the experienced people. Okay. So in one of the interview, like I was giving proxy basically at the time. So they asked the what is the other name for metric server? So the answer for this question will be heapster. Let me go ahead and tell what is heapster. So you can go ahead and see here what is heapster. Okay. Heapster is the bridge between cluster storage and the designed to collect the metrics. Okay. The advanced version of heapster is what we can call as metric server. So I'm going to call it as heapster advanced version is called as metric server. So you can go and check. Wait, where it is? Like there you can see something like wait. Like or you can type like this. Older name of metric server. You can call this like this also. Where is this man? Like metrics. I'm not able to get this one properly, but like you can go and search on the Google. Like there's official documentation. Like this, the older version can be called as hipster. Let me write this one. Older version or like previously, we can call it as hipster. Fine. Sir, you showed that metric server is collecting the metrics of the manager node and worker node. But how exactly it is working? Let me tell the internal working of metric server. This is going to be advanced. What exactly I'm going to tell you. I'll explain you how this metric server is getting the information of pods and nodes. So it is my manager node, right? Okay. And this is my worker nodes. And this manager node and worker nodes has been managing by my KOps cluster. It is my cluster, for example. Let's take it as my cluster. So whenever I install the metric server is going to create like a pod. How it is going to create like a, and this pod is going to place on each of the nodes. So here, here, and here. I think you know the concept of daemon set, right? What is daemon set? Daemon set will create one pod on one node. So here my metric server is going to create like a daemon set. So now this metric server is going to create like a pod in the manager node, in the worker node 1, as well as in the worker node 2 also. Okay. And whatever the data is consuming by this particular node is going to send to my main KOps server. It is going to send to the main KOps server. Sir, I am seeing the information from KOps server or not, sir? Currently, where am I? It's my KOps server or not? So like this, the same points I've mentioned here. Okay. A single deployment that work on the more cluster. So the requirement will be, so basically this metric server will be create like a daemon set. What is the major usage of this metric server is we use it for auto scaling. For which concept we are going to use for metric server? I'll tell what is auto scaling tomorrow. So the main purpose is to collect the metrics. And this metric server will collect metrics from every seconds. For example, you can see the pod number 1 is having 1 millicore CPU and 5 MB of memory. After 15 seconds, again it is going to take the information. And after again 15 seconds, it is going to take the same information. Like this, for every 15 seconds, it is going to take the information of pods and nodes. And if I want to create the metric server, already we discussed this metric server is going to create like a pod. For this pod, we need to allocate 1 millicore of CPU and 2 MB of RAM. Here I have given. So to create the metric server in each of the worker node, we need to give 1 millicore of CPU and 2 MB of RAM. Otherwise, it is not going to create. And this metric server, we can create up to 5,000 servers. How many servers? 5,000. So basically we use for metric server is for horizontal auto scaling and vertical auto scaling. This is the concept what we are going to discuss on tomorrow's session. But as of now, I said about metric server. This metric server is to collect the metrics of a pods and nodes for every 15 seconds. But if I want to create a metric server, I need to have 1 millicore of CPU and 2 MB of RAM. And it is going to create on each of the nodes like a daemon set. I think you know daemon set, right? And what is the old name of this metric server? Hipster. Correct. So this is the concept for today's session. So in today's class, what are the topics we discussed? We discussed about metric server and we discussed about the concept of services. Which one? That's it for today's session, guys. Now, before going for doubts and queries, how's the class for all of you today? Is it clear? Online, can you please confirm how's the class for all of you today? Can you please confirm in chat box once? Clear, good fun. Yesterday notes also I'm giving, don't worry. Wait. I think yesterday notes I have given, but I have given on the wrong class. It is the other class actually. See, you can see it is edited on which day? That means yesterday I posted the notes on the previous classroom. That is the yesterday. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yesterday I posted on the wrong Google Classroom. Okay, it is a new Google Classroom now. That's where the confusion begin. Okay. So here it is saved now. Let me post it and let me check it after posting. Let me check it now lively, whether it is posted correctly or not. So you can go and check. Basically, I'm not giving the history. Why? Because if I give history, people are following the history only. They are not following the concepts. So you are running the comments randomly, okay? Which I don't want you to give it, okay? You can go and check. It's updated now, okay? Fine. So after working with the cluster, we are going to remove the cluster, okay? So I'll be removing the cluster. Now in today's class, if you are having any doubts or any queries, you can ask me now. Online, you can raise your hand. And offline, I'm in front of you. You can go with your doubts and queries. So we still have a lot of time to discuss the doubts and queries. You can go ahead with your queries now. So Bhavani, don't worry. I'm gonna give you the job openings group from Naresh IT only. So don't worry, I'll be guiding this one. Currently, just focus on the course. I'll be guiding you at the end of the course. And one more thing, our course started on which day? 18th April. 18th April, huh? 18th April to okay, fine. 39th today, I think so. Yesterday it was 38th. 37th, huh? Yesterday. Fine. Online, if you are having any queries, you can ask me now. So, sir, after changing the S3 bucket name and executing kf.sh, screenshot posted on Telegram at 17:37. Okay, let me check it, Srinivas. Give me a second. You posted this on Telegram, right? Wait. Let me check that one. So 5:37. Yeah, it's working fine only, na. So you need to give the command cops validate cluster. Run the below command. Srinivas, you can run the command called cops validate cluster. So it is going to show you the live cluster creation. You've done is correct, whatever you have done. Then what is the error you got? Can you please tell me? See, whenever if you get any kind of issue, na, post me the code as well as the error also. If I don't see the error, like how can I get the solution for it? Okay, try it now, Srinivas, and still if you are getting, let me know, okay? So still any queries from your end? Sorry? Last day. So what is that one? You still can ask. Lot of after getting the job, everything will be issue only. Why? Because I'll tell you one thing. Forgot about IT and non-IT. I'll tell you one thing here. Guys, after getting the job, if you know the subject, you are very, very safe. Why? Because here, if you get any kind of doubt, I'm explaining very clearly without like hesitating. But if you go to company, na, they will tell your work only one time. But if you ask the second time, na, they won't tell you. They will tell you like, don't you know this small thing also? They are going to demotivate you. That is the thing that you are going to experience everywhere. So my major thing I want to give suggestion for all of you is learn the subject very well. Why? Because if you have the subject, you need not to depend on anyone. But if you go to organization, if you depend on any other person, so it's going to be very helpful for all of you. That is the only thing I can tell for you. That is the issue that what I have faced eventually. Why? Because starting off my career, I haven't taken any course in DevOps. I just learn for myself. So I know only some part of DevOps. I don't know complete DevOps. I know only some part of DevOps. But what are the DevOps that I thought and what are the DevOps is going on organization? Both are different. So at that case, there is no one to guide me, there is no one to help me. So I faced a lot of issues. Okay. So whenever if you don't know any work, na, please don't ask anyone directly. Go to Google and refer some documentation, refer some blogs, find the solution. Then also, if you are not able to find the solution, then go and ask your teammates. That is the only suggestion that I can give for you initially. No resource found in default namespace. I think you got the same error like me, Srinivas. Please check the kubectl get events. Yeah, ChatGPT is very helpful. And if apart from ChatGPT, you can go and refer the official documentation also. Okay. So I think that's enough for today's session, guys. So let's meet on tomorrow's class with some new topic. Have a great day. Bye all. Thank you.